In chapter 2, we are going to talk about the withdrawals, and in previous chapter, we learned how to send either to a contract. So all the either is sent to the contract, not to the MetaMask. So after you send to a contract, it gets stored in the contract Ethereum account, and unless you add a function to, and it will be tapped there unless you add a function to withdraw the ether from the contract. So for example, you have the contract get paid is ownable, and we also have the only owner modifier because the zombie helper is inherit is extend from the zombie feeding, and the zombie feeding is extend from the zombie factory, and so the zombie factory is ownable. So it can has the only owner modifier, which is at here. So address payable owner is equal to address uint owner. So if you take a look on this owner, it will return to the owner of this contract, and so the address payable owner is equal to the address uint 160 owner. So note that we are using owner and only ownable from the ownable contract, and it is important to note that you cannot transfer ether to an address unless the address of type address payable. So you have to use this and not just use the owner, but the owner variable is of type uint 160, meaning that we must explicitly cast it into a payable, the address payable. So we have to cast it by using this. So when you cast the address from uint to address payable, you can transfer the ether to address using transfer. So it will transfer the balance to the owner, and you can transfer the ether using the transfer functions, and address this dot balance will return the total balance stored on the contract. So this is pointing to the contract, the zombie helper, and now it will return the balance to the total balance to the owners by using the transfer function. So if 100 user had paid 1 ether, just for example, you could have a function that transfer ether back to the message.sender. So for example, the item fee is 0.001 ether. So we can transfer the message, transfer this value. So it minus the item fee, and so the overpay will get back to the message.sender. And the other method is if you store the address, the buyer and the seller, so you can just pay. You can when someone purchase his item, transfer the fee paid by the seller, the fee paid by the buyer, the seller dot transfer message dot values. And these are some example what makes Ethereum program really cool. You can have decentralized marketplace like this and controlled by anyone. So the first is create a withdraw function in our contract, which should be identical to the get paid. So we back to here and copy these withdraw functions and paste to here. And then we go to the second part is to create the level up fee functions. The price of ether has gone up over 10 times in the past year, so it may be changed from the 0.01 ether is equal to $1 at the time of writing this, and it may also go up to 10x. So this is very fluctuate. So it is a good idea to create a backdoor to set the level up fee, so later it will not be too hard to level up the zombie. So first we have to create a function called set level up fee, and it will pass the uint fee and external and only owner. So the only owner can set the transfer fee. And then at last we are going to set the level up fee is equal to fee. So we can add the semicolon and check the answer. And then we can go to next chapter.